The warning lights flashed red across the control panel of Tom Parker's small cargo ship, the Morning Star. The engine's steady hum had turned into an angry growl, and the smell of burning circuits filled the cramped cockpit. Tom wiped the sweat from his forehead as he checked the readings again. It wasn't good news. "Come on, don't die on me now," he muttered, his fingers dancing across the controls. The ship shuddered, making him grab his seat to stay steady. He was stuck in the middle of the Outer Rim's infamous asteroid belt, exactly where no pilot wanted to have engine trouble. Tom pulled up the ship's scanner, searching for any safe place to stop and make repairs. The asteroids floated around him like silent giants, their dark shapes blocking out the distant stars. That's when he saw it, a familiar shape among the rocks that made his heart skip a beat. The Star Wanderer, his old ship, still floated exactly where he had left it 6 months ago. He remembered that day clearly. A meteor strike had torn through the hull, forcing him to abandon the vessel he had called home for 5 years. The rescue team had barely gotten to him in time. But now, the sight of his old ship gave him hope. The Star Wanderer used the same engine type as his current vessel. If he could salvage a few parts, Tom carefully guided the Morning Star closer to his former ship. As he approached, something strange caught his eye. The running lights were on. That shouldn't have been possible. The ship's batteries should have died months ago. What in the world? He whispered, leaning forward to get a better look through the view screen. The hull showed signs of repair work. Someone, or something, had patched up the meteor damage he remembered so clearly. The Morning Star's engine gave another threatening groan. Tom didn't have much choice now. He needed that spare part, and his old ship was his only option in this empty stretch of space. Using what little power he had left, he lined up his ship with the Star Wanderer's docking port. The docking procedure went smoother than he expected. The Star Wanderer's systems responded to his approach, matching airlocks perfectly. Another surprise. The ship's computers were clearly working. Tom grabbed his toolkit and emergency light. He checked his pocket for his old security override card, hoping it would still work. The airlock cycled, and the familiar smell of his old ship's recycled air hit him. But something was different. The air smelled cleaner, fresher. The emergency lights cast a soft blue glow along the corridors. Tom walked carefully, his footsteps echoing in the quiet ship. The interior was clean, too clean for an abandoned vessel. The tools in the maintenance bay were neatly organized, not scattered about as they had been during his emergency evacuation. He ran his hand along a wall. No dust, not even a little bit. The engine room door opened with a soft hiss. Tom stepped inside, and his mouth fell open. The machinery hummed softly, running at low power. The room was spotless, and several systems showed signs of recent maintenance. Some of the repairs used techniques he had never seen before, with parts that definitely weren't standard human engineering. A soft clatter from behind made him spin around. There in the doorway, a tool floated gently to the floor. Someone had dropped it, but the corridor was empty. "Hello," Tom called out, his voice steady despite his racing heart. "I'm the original owner of this ship. I'm just here for a spare part. I don't mean any harm." Silence answered him, but he could have sworn he heard the soft sound of footsteps hurrying away. Tom gripped his toolkit tighter and took a deep breath. He wasn't alone on his old ship, and he needed to find out who, or what, had made themselves at home here. Tom moved through the corridors of his old ship with careful steps, his flashlight beams sweeping from side to side. The strange maintenance of the Star Wanderer had him both curious and concerned. Everything was too perfect, too clean for a supposedly abandoned vessel. A quiet shuffling sound came from the crew quarters ahead. Tom paused, listening intently. There it was again, the unmistakable sound of movement, followed by what seemed like humming. The sound was unlike anything he heard before, musical but somehow electronic. "I know someone's there," Tom called out, keeping his voice friendly. "Look, I just need a spare part. I'm not here to cause trouble." The humming stopped instantly. Tom waited, but only silence answered him. He took a few more steps forward, approaching the main crew cabin, his old room. The door was closed, but a faint bluish light leaked out from underneath it. As he reached for the door panel, a voice called out from inside. "Please, please don't come in." The voice was feminine, but had an odd echo to it, as if someone was speaking through water. I have weapons." Tom couldn't help but smile at the obvious tremor in the voice. Whoever was in there was probably more scared than dangerous. "No, you don't," he said calmly. "I know every weapon that was on this ship, and I took them all with me when I left." There was a pause, then a small defeated sigh. "You're right. I don't have any weapons." Another pause. You say this was your ship." "Still is, technically," Tom replied, leaning against the wall next to the door. "Though you've certainly kept it in better shape than I ever did. I'm Tom Parker, the original owner." The door slid open just a crack, and Tom's eyes widened. Through the gap, he saw a soft blue glow, not from a light, but from a face. Two large, luminescent eyes peered out at him, set in a face that seemed to shimmer with subtle patterns of light under pale skin. You're really human?" the creature asked, opening the door a bit wider. "Not a pirate or a drachnid raider." Tom shook his head slowly, trying not to stare. "Just a human cargo hauler with engine trouble." "And you are?" The door opened fully, revealing a figure slightly shorter than Tom. She, at least Tom assumed it was a she based on the voice, looked almost human in shape, but her skin had a pale, translucent quality that pulsed with gentle waves of blue light. Her hair seemed to be made of thin, fiber optic-like strands that changed color slightly as she moved. "My name," she hesitated. "Well, in your language, it would sound like blue. That's what the color of my bioluminescence matches, right?" She gestured to her glowing skin. "I'm sorry I'm in your ship. I needed somewhere to hide." Tom noticed how she kept glancing at the corridor behind him, as if expecting more humans to appear. "Hide from what?" "Everything," Blue said quietly, her glow dimming slightly. "My people are having some problems. Political problems. I found this ship, damaged but fixable. I've been living here for 3 months, using my natural light to help me repair things." She looked down at her feet. "I'm good with machines. Always have been." "I can see that," Tom said, genuinely impressed. "You've done amazing work here. Better than new in some places." He gestured at a nearby panel that hummed with quiet efficiency. "But I have to ask, how did you get the engines running again?" "That meteor hit destroyed the main power core." Blue's luminescence brightened slightly, showing what Tom guessed was pride. "Oh, that was actually quite simple. I just had to reconfigure the..." She stopped suddenly, her glow flickering with anxiety. "Wait, you're not going to make me leave, are you? Please, I have nowhere else to go, and your ship, it's the first place I've felt safe in a long time." Tom sat in the galley of the Star Wanderer, watching with fascination as Blue prepared 2 cups of what seemed like tea. Her bioluminescent glow provided enough light that they didn't need to turn on the overhead lamps. The way she moved around his old kitchen showed how familiar she'd become with the space. "It's not exactly coffee," Blue said, placing a steaming cup in front of him. "But I found this herb growing on one of the asteroids. It's safe for both our species." She sat down across from him, her fiber optic hair shifting from blue to a gentle purple. "I tested it thoroughly first, of course." Tom took a careful sip. The drink tasted like mint mixed with honey, but with an odd fizzy sensation on his tongue. "It's good," he said, surprised. "You know a lot about human biology." Blue's skin rippled with waves of light. "I had to study everything about humans when I found this ship. Your database was very helpful." She wrapped her glowing hands around her cup. "I needed to understand if I could safely live here, use your air, your food processors. And what made you choose my ship in the first place?" Tom asked, genuinely curious. The lights under Blue's skin dimmed slightly. My people, we're facing a difficult time. The Lumini have always been peaceful, but lately there's been fighting. She stared into her cup. Some think we should join the Galactic Council, become part of their empire. Others want to stay independent. The Council. She shuddered, causing ripples of dark blue to flow across her skin. They think we're primitive because we use our natural bioluminescence for technology instead of their approved methods. Tom nodded slowly. Humans get that too. Most advanced species think we're backwards because we still use mechanical engines instead of quantum drives. But that's just stupid. Blue's glow brightened suddenly with emotion. Your engines are amazing. Look how I was able to combine them with my light-based technology. She gestured around them. This ship now runs on both systems. It's twice as efficient as either one alone. Tom leaned forward, interested. Is that how you fixed the power core? Using your bioluminescent technology? Blue's hair shifted to a proud golden color. Yes. Your mechanical systems provide the base power, and my light tech amplifies and stabilizes it. Here, let me show you. She led Tom to a control panel and opened it. Inside, the standard wiring was interwoven with crystalline structures that pulsed with the same kind of light that came from Blue's skin. See, the crystals absorb and channel energy just like my people do. We evolved this way because our home world has such weak sunlight. We learned to capture and enhance every bit of energy around us. That's brilliant, Tom said, studying the modification. No wonder the ship's running better than ever. He paused, thinking. You know, this could be really valuable. Both our peoples could benefit from combining our technologies like this. Blue's glow flickered anxiously. The Council would never allow it. They say lesser species shouldn't share technology. That's part of why there's fighting at home. They want to control how we develop. Tom smiled. Well, the Council doesn't control human space, and we're always happy to trade with independent species. He looked at Blue thoughtfully. You know, if you wanted, you could probably claim refugee status in human territory. We've got laws protecting people fleeing from political conflict. The lights under Blue's skin pulsed rapidly, showing her excitement. You think humans would accept me, even though I'm different, even though the Council calls us primitive. Blue, Tom laughed. Half the species in human space are Council primitives who got tired of being looked down on. We've got quite a club going. The warning alarm jolted Tom and Blue from their conversation. A harsh red light filled the galley, making Blue's natural glow seem dim in comparison. Tom rushed to the nearest display panel, his cup of alien tea forgotten on the table. No, Blue whispered, her skin paling to an almost white glow. They found me. Tom's fingers flew across the screen. Large ship, coming in from the outer edge of the asteroid belt. Military-grade shields. He looked at Blue. Who are they? Drachnid patrol vessel, Blue said, her voice shaking. They work for the Council. I set up a distress beacon when I first arrived. It was automatic. I forgot to disable it. Her hair turned a deep worried red. They must have finally picked up the signal. The ship's sensors showed the patrol vessel's approach. It was huge, at least 20 times the size of the Star Wanderer, its hull covered in heavy weapons. Tom watched as it began a scanning pattern of the asteroid field. They'll check every ship they find, Blue explained, her glow flickering with fear. If they find me here, they'll say I stole tech from humans. They might even accuse you of helping me. She started pacing. They hate both our species. They'll use any excuse to cause trouble. Tom's mind raced. Okay, we need to think. We can't outrun them. Even with your improvements, we're no match for their speed. He studied the sensor readings. But maybe we don't have to run. Blue moved closer to the screen. What do you mean? Your light technology, Tom said slowly, an idea forming. Can you make it look like this ship is dead? Like it's just another piece of space junk? Blue's glow brightened with understanding. Yes, I can reverse the energy signature, Make it look like the power core is cold. Her fingers, glowing brighter now, began working on a nearby panel. But what about their visual scans? The ship looks too well maintained. Tom grinned. Leave that to me. I know every fake rust pattern and debris layout in the book. Used to use them to avoid pirates. He paused. But we'll need to work fast. That patrol ship will be in scanning range in about 10 minutes. They sprang into action. Blue's hands danced across the crystal-enhanced control panels, manipulating energy signatures and power readings. Tom accessed the external maintenance systems, deploying specialized dust and debris patterns he perfected over years of flying dangerous routes. Their first scan is starting, Blue reported, her voice tense. The patrol ship's powerful sensors swept over the asteroid field. They're looking for power signatures. Tom held his breath. On the screen, he could see the massive vessel moving methodically through the field. Its scanners passed over several actual derelict ships, marking them and moving on. They're getting closer, Blue whispered. Her glow had dimmed to almost nothing, trying to avoid detection. 3 ships away. 2. The patrol ship's scan reached them. Tom watched the sensor readings, hoping their deception would hold. 1 second passed. 2. 3. The scan moved on. Blue let out a long breath, her natural light slowly returning. They marked us as debris, she said, hardly believing it. Just another dead ship in the field. Not done yet, Tom cautioned, watching the screen. They'll do 2 more passes. Standard patrol procedure. We need to maintain the illusion. Blue nodded, her color returning to its normal blue. The energy masking is stable. But she looked at Tom with worried eyes. If they decide to do a physical inspection, then we'll deal with that if it happens, Tom said firmly. For now, we just need to be the most boring, dead-looking ship in this asteroid field. He managed a small smile. Think you can handle being boring for an hour? Blue's hair flickered with hints of gold. Amusement, Tom had learned. I grew up attending council political meetings. I'm an expert at looking dull and uninteresting. They both laughed quietly, but kept their eyes on the screen, watching the patrol ship continue its methodical search pattern. The danger wasn't over yet. The patrol ship was still searching the outer edges of the asteroid field. Tom and Blue had retreated to the engine room, keeping their voices low despite knowing the drachnids couldn't possibly hear them. The combined hum of mechanical systems and light-based technology created a surprisingly peaceful background noise. I still can't believe how you modified these engines, Tom said, examining the crystalline structures that now enhanced his old ship's power core. Our best engineers would take years to figure this out. Blue's skin rippled with modest purple waves. It's not that impressive. I just used what I know about energy flow. She touched one of the crystals, making it pulse in sync with her own light. Your mechanical systems actually made it easier. They're so logical. Everything has a clear purpose. Tom watched as she effortlessly adjusted power levels with just a touch of her glowing hands. The council really thinks this is primitive. Being able to manipulate energy with your own body. They think anything different is primitive, Blue said, her glow dimming slightly. They want everyone to use their approved technologies, their way of doing things. She looked at her hands. They say bioluminescent engineering is unreliable because it depends on the individual. But that's exactly what makes it amazing, Tom argued, pointing to where her crystal enhancements merged perfectly with his old engine parts. Look how you adapted it to work with our technology. Council systems are all identical. They can't adjust to different situations like this. Blue's hair shifted to a thoughtful green color. That's what I never understood about the council. They call humans primitive too, you know, because you still use manual controls and mechanical parts. Her glow brightened suddenly. But do you know what I discovered living in this ship? Your primitive mechanical systems can be repaired anywhere. You don't need special facilities or council approval. Tom laughed. That's why we stick with them. Space is dangerous. We need technology we can fix with basic tools and common sense. He patted the engine housing. Though I have to admit, your improvements make a lot of sense too. The best of both worlds. Watch this, Blue said excitedly. She placed her hand on a crystal panel, and her bioluminescence pulsed in a complex pattern. The engine's hum changed slightly, becoming even smoother. See, the crystals learn. They remember the best energy patterns and adapt to them. Combined with your mechanical stability, it creates a system that's both reliable and flexible. Tom finished, genuinely impressed. No wonder the Council Patrol couldn't detect us. The power signature keeps shifting. There's no fixed pattern for them to lock onto. Blue's skin flashed with happy golden sparks. Exactly. When our people work together, we're not primitive at all. We're just different. Better, maybe, because we can change and adapt. A small alert chimed softly from a nearby panel. Tom checked it quickly, then relaxed. Patrol ships moving to the far side of the belt. We're safe for now. He turned back to Blue. You know, there are plenty of independent worlds that would love to have access to this kind of hybrid technology. Worlds that don't care what the Council thinks. Really? Blue's glow pulsed with interest. You think others would want to learn this? Are you kidding? Efficient, adaptable, easy to maintain. It's perfect for frontier colonies and independent traders. Tom grinned, and since neither of our species is part of the Council, they can't stop us from sharing it. Blue's entire form lit up with excitement, her hair cycling through bright colors. Then she suddenly dimmed, looking uncertain. But would your people accept help from someone like me? The Council tells everyone that Lumini are unstable, emotional. Tom gestured around at the perfectly functioning engine room. Blue, in the time you've been here, you've turned a wreck of a ship into something amazing. You did it all alone, with limited resources, while hiding from patrols. His voice was firm. As far as I'm concerned, you've already proved them wrong. Once the patrol ship had moved to a safe distance, Tom and Blue turned their attention to the Morning Star's engine problems. They stood in the docking tunnel between the two ships, looking at diagnostic readings on a portable screen. Your power converter is completely burned out, Blue said, her glow pulsing in thought as she studied the readings. That's why your engine is failing. She touched the screen, her fingertip leaving traces of light that highlighted specific parts of the diagram. But look, the damage pattern is unusual. Tom leaned closer. You're right. It's like something was drawing too much power, but the logs don't show any power spikes. He scratched his head. I've never seen anything quite like it. Blue's hair shifted to a bright, idea-sparking silver. I think I know what happened. Your converter isn't broken. It's evolving. Evolving. Tom looked skeptical. It's a machine part. Yes, but Blue's skin flickered with excitement. Remember how I told you that Council technology is too rigid? Well, sometimes when mechanical systems interact with different types of energy for too long, they start to change. Your converter was probably exposed to some kind of exotic energy during your travels. Tom thought back. I did take a shortcut through that nebula last month. The one with the strange radiation readings. That's it. Blue's entire form brightened. The nebula energy started changing your converter. It was trying to become more efficient, but your other systems couldn't handle the transformation. She started pacing, her hair streaming colors of inspiration. We could help it along. What do you mean? Instead of answering, Blue rushed to a storage compartment in the Star Wanderer. She returned with a handful of small crystals, similar to the ones she'd used to enhance the ship's engines. These are blank crystals. They haven't been programmed yet. We can use them to guide your converter's evolution. Tom watched as Blue laid out the crystals on a workbench. Won't that make my ship dependent on your technology? I need to be able to maintain it myself. That's the beautiful part, Blue said, her glow pulsing with pride. Once we program these crystals correctly, they'll work with your mechanical systems, not replace them. They'll help your converter change in a way that's still compatible with human technology. They spent the next few hours working together. Tom explained how human power converters functioned, while Blue used her bioluminescent abilities to program the crystals. She taught him how to read the different colors and patterns of light that showed the crystal's energy states. "See this golden pulse?" she asked, holding up a crystal. "That means it's ready to sync with mechanical systems. And this blue ripple pattern, that shows it's stable." Her hair sparkled with teaching enthusiasm. "You'll be able to check the crystal's health just by looking at them. No special tools needed." Finally, they were ready to install the modified converter. Blue had encoded the crystals with a hybrid pattern that combined human engineering principles with Lumini light-based energy management. Tom carefully fitted the new assembly into the Morning Star's engine. "Moment of truth," he said, initiating the power-up sequence. The engine hummed to life, but this time the sound was different. Deeper, smoother, more alive somehow. The diagnostic panel showed power readings that were off the charts, yet completely stable. It worked. Blue's skin rippled with joy, creating waves of celebratory light. "The converter is evolving exactly as it should, but in a controlled way. Your ship now has the best of both our technologies." Tom checked the readings again, amazed. "The efficiency is incredible. And I can maintain this with regular tools. Plus a little basic light reading," Blue said, her glow softening to a teaching mode. "Here, let me show you what to look for." She began explaining the crystal patterns, and Tom found himself thinking that this partnership might be about more than just fixing his ship. They were proving that different approaches to technology could work together. And maybe different species could too. 2 weeks later, Tom's ship, Morning Star, glided smoothly into Port Liberty, one of the busiest independent trading stations in human space. The newly modified engine purred like a contented cat, its hybrid human Lumini technology working perfectly. In the co-pilot's seat, Blue watched the busy space traffic with wide, glowing eyes. "I've never seen so many different species working together," she said, her hair shifting through amazed colors as she counted the variety of ships. "And none of them are council vessels." Tom smiled as he guided the ship toward their assigned dock. "Welcome to the frontier. Out here, nobody cares what the council thinks about primitive species." He nodded toward a nearby repair bay. "Look there, those are driftwalkers working on a human cargo ship. The council says they're too simple because they float instead of using gravity boots." Blue's skin rippled with laughter. The council would hate this place. Everyone's mixing technologies, sharing ideas. Her glow brightened. "It's wonderful." The docking computer chimed, confirming their arrival. As they secured the ship, Tom noticed Blue's light dimming slightly with nervousness. "Having second thoughts?" he asked gently. "No," Blue said quickly, then paused. "Well, maybe a few. What if the other engineers don't want to work with Lumini? What if they think my ideas are too strange?" Tom gestured at their engine readings. "Blue, in 2 weeks, you've helped me create something completely new. Something that could help a lot of people out here." He grinned. "Trust me, frontier engineers care more about results than what species you are." They made their way to the station's administration office, where Tom had arranged a meeting. The station manager, an older woman named Rita, listened carefully as they explained their hybrid technology. Her eyes lit up when Blue demonstrated how the crystals worked with standard engine parts. "This is exactly what we need out here," Rita said, examining the prototype they'd brought. "Simple, efficient, easy to maintain, and completely independent of council supply chains." She looked up at them. "How soon can you start setting up shop?" Blue's glow pulsed with surprise. "You mean you want us to work here? Together?" "Obviously," Rita laughed. "Look, we've got ships from 20 different species coming through here, all needing repairs, all using different tech. A team that can combine technologies like this." She gestured at their prototype. "You'll have more work than you can handle." Over the next hour, they worked out the details. The station would provide them with a workshop and living quarters. In return, Tom and Blue would develop and install their hybrid systems for independent ships. They'd also train other engineers, both human and alien, in the new techniques. Later, as they walked back to their ship to start moving their equipment, Blue's glow had brightened to its happiest intensity. "I still can't believe it," she said. "A month ago, I was hiding in an abandoned ship, thinking I'd lost everything. And now you're going to help change how ships work out here," Tom finished, while proving that the Council's wrong about primitive species. Blue stopped walking, her expression serious despite her bright glow. "Thank you, Tom, for not just taking your spare part and leaving when you found me. For seeing me as someone who could help, not just a refugee." Tom smiled. "Hey, you're the one who turned my broken-down old ship into something amazing. I just had the good luck to find you there." He gestured at the busy station around them. "Besides, look at this place. The best things in space happen when different people work together." They watched as ships of all shapes and sizes moved around the station, their engines glowing with various types of technology. Soon, some of them would be powered by a unique combination of human mechanics and Lumini light, proof that being different didn't mean being primitive. It just meant having something new to share.